In Snowflake, we write a lot of queries, we do a lot of data transformations. Whenever we are talking about Snowflake or any sort of database, what we generally do, we go and just open the database, we select the database to in which we have to write the queries, we take a new query and we start writing the query. Or what we do, we go and open the existing query that we have and we directly start working on it. So the same thing, it happens in Snowflake also. So what's happening here? Whenever we are trying to open the Snowflake, we give our login credentials, and as soon as we log in into our Snowflake, we select the project what we had already worked, or if you are creating a new project, then you select a new project and you directly start writing the queries. You create a table, you create the file format objects, you alter the table, or you create the stage object, you use copy commands, on error options, whatnot, what all we would like to do, we directly go and write the queries. But there are a lot of consequences when we are following these steps, though it is a database, though it is a SQL. So now when I'm talking about the consequences, you might think that, okay, so when we have to open up the Snowflake and we have to work on a Snowflake, then it is having some issue with what type of data you are working in, how much size of the data are you working in, what warehouse are you choosing, what exactly are you working on Snowflake. You have to go and have a note of it, and it is very important to show some interest in knowing or understanding what exactly is the warehouse, what exactly is the workload that you are working in, and all these different aspects and parameters in Snowflake. So in order to know all these things, we should know in detail what are the general common mistakes that we avoid, or that we do not notice when we are working on Snowflake. Hi, I'm M. Asif Hussain from KnowHow Academy. What are we going to learn in this video? We are going to learn and understand the top mistakes that we do in Snowflake. So by the end of this video, you could able to know and understand in the clear picture of a Snowflake what mistakes you should not avoid, what the considerations that you have to take when you're working on Snowflake. So all the different aspects and parameters in Snowflake. So watch till the end. So my dear viewers, let's see the first mistake that we generally do with Snowflake, that is understanding the pay as used. Okay, as we all know that whatever we are working on a Snowflake, it's completely a cloud based, right? So every single minute that you are working on in a Snowflake and every single step that you are doing on Snowflake, it is chargeable. It is chargeable. So you should understand the credits that you are using it. You should understand the hours that you are working on Snowflake. So in order to know that, you should understand the requirement of what all the queries that you are writing in it. So what can be the cost of the query that I am writing it. If you are writing a complicated query and all, it will take much workload. Okay, it will take a lot of time for execution. So as per the same way, it will take the size, memory, so the credits will also get increased. So you have to understand on how much the cost it will be consumed for the query that you are working it on. And later on, I would like to focus on the cost involved while executing the queries and selecting the right warehouse. This is very important. Understanding the warehouses is very important. What we generally do, we go and use the default warehouse that we have it in our Snowflake. Then on the complete that particular default warehouse, we try to go and execute number of queries in it. Okay, so you should be aware of what can be the cost involved when you are executing the query and what type of warehouse are you selecting in it. Okay, so here if I would like to show it to you, under the home, if I just work it on, we can see that we have the option called admin, and under the option called admin, we have something called as warehouses. We can see that I have compute warehouse, I have KnowHow warehouse, I have compute warehouse again, which is in an elaborated way. I have system notebook warehouse. So now if you just look into it, The status of the warehouse, if you consider, okay, the status of the warehouse, if you see, only the compute WH warehouse, it is enabled, it is started, but the rest of the warehouses, these are suspended. What are they? These are suspended. So now if you go here, you can go and resume it. You can go and resume your KnowHow warehouse. Okay. So you have to understand the warehouse that you are selecting whenever you are executing a query in Snowflake. And later on, we will see the point called the code that you are running in it. Okay. So whenever you are writing a code in Snowflake, okay, or whenever you are trying to execute the query or a code, then we should make sure that it is completely efficient and it not set queries of leaving to run overnight. So as I told you, every single step that is involved in particular Snowflake, it is chargeable, right? It will add on the credits of what exactly we are using in Snowflake. Yes or no? So now what happens is that most of the people, what they do, as it is organizations cost and money, so what generally they do is that they try to run the code and they do not wait for the result to come, because it might take a lot of time, the query might be heavy, it might be big, it is taking some time, okay, there are some errors, again you are solving it, again you are trying to run the code, but still you are not getting the right result. So what people generally do, they go and leave the particular code to run. They leave the particular code to run, okay, and they will come out of their particular systems. So what happens? The code is running all over the night. So whenever you are trying to do these kind of situation with your particular code in Snowflake, understand the consequences. Okay, your company's cost will get increased. You have to increase your credit limit. Okay, the usage will be heavy. There are a lot of things that you have to focus. So this you have to avoid it. That's with the general mistakes that we do when we talk about the credits usage. Then we in the particular Snowflake. And when we talk about the next common mistake that people will do is fine tuning of virtual warehouses. This is very important. In particular Snowflake, we completely work on the virtual warehouses. So now the by default virtual warehouses in Snowflake, we have to reset it to standby mode after 15 minutes. Actually what happens is that whenever we are working on any particular virtual warehouse, the particular warehouse, it will automatically reset to auto standby mode after 15 minutes. Okay, so now understand what is the problem. When you are not making the auto standby in 15 minutes, so what you are doing it, you are increasing the load, the workload on the warehouse that you are working on it. So let's consider, I'm giving you a simple example here. Let's consider there are 15 queries to run, and on an average, if every query is taking 5 minutes each, then the time is getting increased. Okay, the time is getting increased. So when the time is getting increased, it is the warehouse also, it is getting idle whenever this particular code is running. Okay, the warehouse is completely idle. So now always make sure that the auto suspend is enabled. So auto suspend, it should be enabled. The reason that we tell the auto suspend is enabled is nothing but whenever the particular warehouse is not functioning, whenever the particular warehouse is not working, then that particular warehouse will be auto suspended. Again, what we can do, you can go and resume the virtual warehouse as how I have shown it to you here. So what we can do, we have these virtual warehouses. As you can see that these are all auto suspended. Okay, it is suspended because we are not using it. So now what we can do, you can go here and you can resume it. Okay, so whenever you are resuming your warehouse, okay, the size you have to select depending upon your requirement, whatever might be the size, X small, medium, large. So in my case, let's consider it is X small, and if I click on resume, as you can see that this particular KnowHow warehouse is also started. Now it is also enabled. So now again this will be affected in my particular payment way, where the cost, if I just would like to show it to you, the how much I am spending it, how much currency I have spent on it, what is the average daily cost. So on that it will be affected. depending upon the usage that I have it. All right. So that's what I would like to explain it to you here. And another important point that I would like to show it to you is that analyze the workload and select auto standby time. You have to understand. So for example, if you're working it on a financial data, or if you're working on a Walmart data, that's a very huge data that you are working it on. So you have to understand what is the workload that you have, and depending upon that, you have to auto standby the time. But having the you have to tune this auto standby to the virtual warehouse in order to make sure that your warehouse will not carry forward much more workload, where you are increasing the credibility, the limit, and all those things in your particular Snowflake account. Okay, so now let's work on the next important, very important mistake that generally people do is usage of roles. Okay, so in general, in particular Snowflake, we have 6 types of roles that we have it. So we have account admin, we have organization admin, we have public, we have security admin, we have system admin, and we have user admin. But here, what happens is that people will be using only account admin. I don't know what is the problem. Only account admin. Why people are always using account admin? Because it has a lot of privileges which account admins do not have it. Okay, so for example, in this account admin, there you might have a lot of privileges that you can use it, but those many privileges are not available with other roles that we have it in Snowflake. So what generally do people will initially, whenever you are working on in a Snowflake, or whenever you have started using Snowflake, automatically we will be going and working on account admin itself. But always using only account admin for multiple warehouses, for multiple workloads, that is not allowed, because account admin is such a kind of role in particular Snowflake, which is very important, which is very crucial, which is very necessary, required role that we have it in Snowflake, because a lot of interesting things and privileges can be availed using this account admin. Okay, so using account admin frequently, so that's we have to avoid it, because it's a more powerful and interesting role that we have it in Snowflake. We have to use it very carefully. And as I told you, that account admin has a lot of privileges, so users frequently use this role. So for example, if some XYZ user in the organization is having the user admin as an access, then what they do, as they do not find a lot of interesting features and privileges in this user admin, they directly switch it to account admin. That is not allowed. That you have to avoid it. Okay, so let me show it to you here. In particular Snowflake, if I come here under the option called users and roles, as you can see that I have the owner access of owner, who is an account admin, that I have it here. But under this particular name that you have it, if you just see the roles, you have all these roles. You have different roles that you have it here. See this, you have account admin, you have organization admin, you have public, we have security admin, system admin, user admin, and all these things. Okay, so this is set by default. So you can go and set another particular, whichever roles are required for you, you can go and set it as default here in Snowflake. Okay, so that's a very interesting point that we have to understand. Okay, so we have to limit the number of users to this account, so that it can be used for a lot of complex situations that whenever we are facing at any organizations. And in order to make it safe and secure, we suggest to enable the this multi-factor authentication, which is MFA. Okay, so when you have this multi-factor authentication, no other people in the organization can easily come and switch their roles into account admin whenever they want. So this is one of the interesting features that we can do it to safeguard the particular account admin role in Snowflake. So let's talk about the next particular mistake that we go is workloads plus virtual warehouses. So these are very much important. Okay, so here let me tell you one thing. Let's consider that you are playing cricket. Okay, so now whenever you are playing cricket, you go to a ground where there is a proper pitch, where there is a place and all the facilities that you have it in order to play a cricket. Now, how does it look and how do you feel when you are playing cricket? In the same ground, hockey is also being played. In the same ground, football is also being played. In the same ground, basketball is also being played. So don't you think that you are doing mess up with the ground there? Am I right? In the same way, we should also use the different warehouses for different workloads. Okay, so only on one warehouse you should not try to work on multiple workloads. Okay, as you have seen, I have created various warehouses. So depending upon the requirement and depending upon the workload, I go and use the different warehouses whenever it is required. So that we have to do it. So what people generally do, they use only one compute warehouse which is by default, and they will try to write all the queries in that, and multiple workloads will be happening only on particular one warehouse. So which will it will create the concurrency issues later on in your particular query. And later on, using the separate warehouses depending upon the workload, it will also optimize your cost and performance, which is very much helpful for you in order to save your particular credit limit whenever you are working on the workloads. And this will provide the transparency across the workloads. Okay, this will provide transparency across the workloads. And whenever I'm talking about all these mistakes that we generally do in Snowflake, so these might look very simple to you, but these matters a lot at the time of billing when we try to bill or do the payment for Snowflake, right? So cost management, we have to look into it. The warehouses, we have to look into it. The workloads, we have to look into it. So there are multiple things that are involved, and all these, if we have a note, and we'll make sure that if you try to implement these corrections whenever we are working on Snowflake, then I hope your Snowflake will work well, your query will work well, and you will save your particular credit usage in Snowflake. So my dear viewers, today in this video, we have learned the top mistakes with Snowflake. Thank you for choosing KnowHow Academy as your source for ready knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate the tech world. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. Stay curious and keep learning.